This video is brought to you by the guitar Skyhook.
Hi there everyone and welcome to Artist Talks. Today is a special day because my guest is a very famous film composer and I'd like to get into his background and career. He's been making music for what you know worldwide, maybe the series called Borgen, and his name is Halfdan. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Halfdan.
Thank you.
What do they call you abroad?
I'm not sure they call me very famous, but I'm very...
Yeah, but just very...
Halfdan, mostly,
yeah,
I think.
Halfdan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm?
And the name is, you were born Nielsen and then you became Halfdan. Why was that?
Well, during the mid-80s,
Yeah.
it was sort of, common day things to change your name in order to become famous.
Yeah.
Which we did back at high school, We
Yeah, you were famous.
Yeah, a small group of people that changed names in order to become famous.
Yeah.
So
you did? Was it a career move?
It was supposedly a career move and a bad joke, really. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've been thinking lately of going back to Nielsen, but I lack the courage.
Yeah, no. Halfdan is a very
frightening
good name. Yeah. Because people know who you are now.
Yeah, at least I hope so.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's Halfdan has been doing a lot of things, and I can't remember all the movies and TV series that he's been making music for. But just to start at the end, could you name some that have been up lately?
At the moment it's Ragnarok. It's a Netflix original series, which I was lucky enough to become part of.
Yeah.
Which is taking place in Norway.
Yeah.
So it's a Danish-Norwegian project.
So the type of music you compose, somebody called the not Nordic Noir like they do the film, but Nordic music noir or what?
Yeah, well, it's always dangerous with terms like that, isn't it? Because Nordic Noir or Scandi Noir.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, it's been a long ride because you start at the foot of a very large mountain and you say, okay, what am I gonna do in this case?
Yeah.
And Adam, who also did Borgen, he said, we want black metal, dark black metal.
Yeah.
And you have to go to Iceland and find Icelandic singers because we want it to be the old Norse language.
Yeah. And hey, we'll get back to that in the end, because right now we'll go back to Halfdan's career. So this is a cliffhanger. Stay tuned.
Short commercial break, I take it.
A skyhook is a new and discreet way to hang your guitar on a wall. Use a strap button on the back of the guitar. If you don't have one on your guitar yet, the skyhook comes with one for you to mount. Find more information on the website skyhook.dk.
No, because I'd like to start from the beginning.
Okay,
it's
sorry.
very easy
Sorry.
because you were born in the mid-60s.
Right.
Yeah, and you decided to play bass. When did you do that?
Well, actually, I started guitar at the age of 12.
At the age of 12,
yeah. With my tennis racket and one foot on the imaginary monitor.
What music was that?
That was heavy metal.
That was heavy metal.
Or at the time it was Deep Purple, which was Uriah Heep, stuff like that. But at high school during the 80s, most people wanted to play guitar and nobody wanted to play the bass. So I thought, okay, let's try it.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be the most powerful instrument of them all, I think.
Yeah, it is. But we're both bass players, and I think that's one of the reasons I actually came to know you in the first place, because you were playing bass in a famous Danish band called Wrtiter, which sounds German, actually. Yeah, ganz genau. Yeah. And it was founded by two brothers, the Gerup Brothers and Morten Kaufmann.
Yeah, exactly.
And
at least at the stage when I entered the band, it was Morten,
Yeah. And you did some, they were a kind of a kids rock band, and then they grew and they got you in the band and you did a huge hit in Denmark.
Yeah, exactly, I joined in 83.
I got something
I want to show you.
Okay.
The DX7.
How old were you then?
84, 85, I must have been, 20, maybe.
Yeah. Now you're 18.
No, I'm 18.
Yeah. See, that's where we see you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy glasses, eh?
Very.
And a nice
That was,
hairdo.
the glasses of the day, they were supposed to be heavy,
Yeah.
goggles, really. I mean,
So that was a song called Dynamite.
Yeah.
You and I.
it's very 80s,
Very 80s.
Lots of hair.
Stop it. Hey. Yeah. It became a huge hit.
Yeah, it did. It
Tell us
did
about
actually.
it.
Yeah, it turned out to be a problem, because we wanted to move on and do more stuff. But
Yeah.
whenever we did something, people
Yeah.
would say, couldn't you just drop by and play Dynamite?
Yeah.
And it actually culminated when we did a job in Jutland where we thought, okay, let's start with this song.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah.
And let's get it over with.
Yeah.
It's a lovely song,
Yeah.
but and so we played it as the first song, and after that song, everybody went outside, and we were totally alone. On
You
stage.
gave them what they came for.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think we learned a lesson there. But we couldn't really move on from that song. We couldn't top it.
No.
So we had to what do you say?
Did you split? As a band?
Split the band in
Yeah.
I think 87 or something like that.
Yeah. But
88 maybe.
you played bass.
I played bass.
And you lived in Roskilde,
I
town
did.
in Denmark.
Yeah, beautiful town.
Yeah. And what I heard, as you were a teacher in bass playing.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did that. Yeah. At the age of 18, it turned out that there were no ways to learn bass in Roskilde, which is a city with a population of what? 60,000, I think, with the whole Roskilde. So I started teaching bass.
Yeah.
And I did that for 10 years, actually. Went to the conservatory, is still teaching. And it was great,
Yeah.
Yeah. Guitar, bass, what do you call it? Band playing.
Yeah.
Different stuff.
Samspil in Danish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to teach when you're educating yourself.
Yeah, but I learned that if you actually teach people something, you get better at it yourself because you have to think about how to explain what you're doing.
It's true.
Yeah. So, and that's maybe why you are able to handle more instruments now as a grown-up when you compose.
Well, actually, I think it's not a matter of controlling more instruments. I think it's a matter of losing control, really.
Yeah.
It's a matter of I mean, when you've played an instrument for 20 years, you get this muscular memory.
Yeah.
So no matter what guitar I sit down with, I'll end up with some Beatles song or something.
Yeah.
It ties you to a certain repertoire.
Yeah.
While playing piano, which I'm not very good at, it's always new ground. So I mean. And that's for me. It seems that ideas pop up when I do something I'm not good at.
Yeah.
Or generally lose control. So it's a method I can hardly recommend.
But then you tried to live as a bass player because you actually entered a few other bands in Denmark.
Oh yes, I did. Yeah.
Perhaps I got a CD. You and Nanna were on tour with the band.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Laid back.
Laid back as well.
Yeah. And that's probably where things
I
started.
forgot they had a band, but it's true.
No, they did.
They toured actually.
For a few years we toured, all over Europe.
Sunshine,
Yeah, or more, maybe even the White Horse.
Yeah.
Or Bacon
Man.
Yeah. Great songs. Huge hits. Yeah.
And you played bass on the tour.
I did, yes.
Yeah. And you were an endorsed bass player as well.
Yeah, because what's the name? Warwick. Sorry, it's silly, but usually I tend to forget things. I'm 80, so I'm excused.
Yeah.
Anyways, Warwick had just entered Denmark, and they wanted a face on,
Yeah.
So we were a couple of bass players that got endorsed from, which was a great thing. They built me a totally yellow bass. I was very much into Prince at the time, so I thought, well, let me have a totally yellow instrument.
Yeah.
And they did that, and we went on tour in Switzerland, I think.
Yeah.
And the next morning, because it stayed in the bus.
Yeah.
Next morning, all the lacquer has just
cracked,
exploded.
Yeah.
Because they forgot to. Normally they would treat the wood with beeswax or something.
Yeah.
And they forgot to pull off that beeswax before they lacquered it, so it just exploded.
So you went from a yellow bass to a kind of a
and back to a yellow bass because I mean. Can't use this. Do something about it, please.
So did they give you another one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great instrument, though.
So you still got them?
Yes, I play them a lot.
Yeah. And then...
I'm not endorsed in it all.
No, but you still play them?
I love them.
Yeah.
Great instruments.
And then there was another band who should have had a worldwide hit with a song
Absolutely.
called My Girl and Me, Gangway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you went to play bass with them as well?
Yeah, I did for a couple of years, I think. 1 year, 2 years, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been around as a bass player?
I've been around.
As a bass player.
Actually, I think my career ended temporarily with 3 years with Poul Krebs, and we did maybe 18, 90 jobs.
18, 19
mostly
jobs,
of them in Jutland every year. It was, going by trains and buses and ferries all the time. It was just so tiring,
Yeah.
So when I had my first child, and
you tend to
sort of
stay in the home.
I
Yeah.
went out of live music for a period.
But then you bought a Mirage.
No, we had the Mirage.
Sampler.
Yeah, we had the Mirage with the Hex display. It was terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
later on I bought a sampler when I finished my rhythmic conservatory in Copenhagen, because I thought, okay, because all the while being a sideman, I had written songs and done demos and fiddled around with sound.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, now's the time I have to do something besides being a sideman.
Yeah.
So I bought my first Ensoniq sampler, EPS 16 Plus, with 2 megabytes of RAM. Amazing stuff. 2
megabytes.
Yeah.
It was huge.
No, that's too much RAM.
Yeah, and it was 16 bits, so it's actually sounding okay.
It was actually, yeah.
Yeah, but that put you in another trail, and you became famous for being able to handle samples.
Yeah, exactly. Because what happened is that I bought it because I loved hip hop, not especially hip hop, but just the approach that you can do whatever with a 12-bit sampler and pick small pieces of your favorite records and put them together. Yeah, sort of like a collage. But then, having bought that sampler, I found out you can sample anything. Yeah. And actually, it started with do you recall Bombastic?
Yeah.
Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
And they'd sampled a part of a Quincy Jones. Great song. And you can also sample jazz. Hey, you can't just limit yourself to beats. I mean, back in the day, it was mostly shaka, It was like okay, or a bass drum.
You know who wrote this song, by the way?
No.
Prince did.
He did.
Yeah.
That as well.
Yeah.
Never stopped surprising me. I mean, he did so much in so short time.
Yeah.
But the thing was that I started buying the cheaper the better. Every vinyl I could get hold of with Hawaii music or jazz music or 100 banjos or whatever. The more silly the cover, the better the record usually was. And I put that together in new ways. Yeah, it wasn't new ways, but I think the moment I mounted it with poetry. Yeah. It started working.
But how the hell did you get into this combination of poetry and sampled music?
Well,
can I explain a bit?
Yeah, please do.
Danish writer has been writing.
I'll just sit back here and listen.
Danseorkestret, and I'm not sure. I'd like to ask you: is he out in other countries than Denmark? Because he is huge in Denmark.
We did it in American actually.
You did?
Yeah, because I had a letter 10 years after Dan died. I had a letter from a guy who just wanted to say, well, I've translated most of his lyrics, and I come from Queens. I've been putting them out in small magazines in the States, and they like it. So I thought, okay, I'll call him up because we had so many dreams back then of what we wanted to do. We wanted to do in American, and we wanted to tour and stuff. Yeah. And that never happened. So
no, because Dan unfortunately died.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, we have the Little Mermaid, and we have Danish cookies, and it's like, well, what do you give the tourists when they come to Copenhagen? Why not give them some jazz and poetry?
Yeah, but how did you get in touch with Dan? How did that?
Well, my idea was to go from hip hop to some kind of Danish poetry on top of pop music, basically. Yeah. But I wanted not, highbrow poetry, that very few people would understand. I wanted somebody eyesight,
Yeah.
you know, and there was only one, and
Yeah,
that was
it's
Dan.
Yeah. And what did he say about the approach then?
Well,
Because you approached him then.
The funny thing is that well, the moment I thought it, you know, I've been living door to door with him without meeting him ever.
You have?
At the moment I thought, I got to call Dan.
Yeah.
But I lack the courage. I'm
Yeah.
only 7. I was 27, you know.
Yeah.
And totally clean without any merits on my CV.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started meeting him.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
I met him, and at the 4th time I met him somewhere in Copenhagen, it was like, okay, somebody's trying to tell me something. Okay, I'll bloody call him then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I called him and he said, well, I've been expecting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that. And it was that. I mean, very generous to say that.
Yeah.
I guess he was expecting someone, but
Yeah.
no. So we met and had a few beers and found out that we had the same record collection and like the same books, and it was
Fantastic.
sort of, you know,
Yeah.
the beginning of something really great.
Yeah.
So that was the start.
Yeah.
And then we did the record, and he died like 6 months after the release.
Yeah.
No, 4 months.
Yeah.
It's like
Strangely.
slap.
Yeah.
Cancer, you know.
Yeah.
And it became sort of a household progressive music
Yeah.
item in Denmark.
Yeah. Yeah, it sold really well.
It
in
did,
Denmark.
yeah. I mean, for music and poetry, well.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, did you have your own studio by then, or how did you record it?
No, it was, you know, there was a term back then called bedroom Jesus, which I think a lot of us were. We were like, you know, our own small gods in our bedrooms.
Yeah.
With
So you did it in your
samples and
bedroom?
stuff.
Or what?
Yeah, I did it in my bedroom, yeah.
So you sampled his voice, it's not recorded like that, it's
No,
sampled.
because you know he was touring a lot back then. So he said, "Okay, I'll let me know which lyrics you want me to read,
Yeah.
and I'll drop by and read them." So he did on cassette tape.
On cassette tape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I built the music around his speech.
Yeah.
And later on we would go to a studio and he would do it all again.
Redo, okay.
Yeah.
To get a bit better quality.
But of course, my idea was that he should read on top of the music, but that
Yeah.
didn't work out.
No.
So we made it the other way around.
Yeah.
I made the music around his voice.
Yeah. So he was
Strange.
not rhythmical like that.
Oh, very. He is, but I mean,
Yeah.
he's got his own rhythm. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
an atomic clock. You know, you have
But
to.
he's got something, had something with music as well. He wrote Johnny and the Hurricanes, and
he was very into music.
Bands, and he wrote lyrics for Roskilde Kreuzfeld.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And I think he did commercials as well. I mean, on the you know, what do you call it? Aliases.
Alias's name. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think at some point he wanted to be a musician
Yeah.
when he was young, but I mean that didn't work out.
No.
And he was better with words, so that became his.
Yeah.
But he never left the music, and I think he wrote a few books about touring with an imaginary band.
Yeah. I wrote one. Read one.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember.
Very
he told
romantic
you
approach
yeah,
to music.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember he told you something about educating bass because that's the way you lived by then.
Yeah, but you know, we're in '93 now, and it's I've been teaching for 10 years or something like that, and I was a bit tired, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to become a tired teacher, like I mean the ones we grew up with. I mean, angry and tired.
Yeah.
So I was very reluctant because it was a good money, you know, and I could do what I wanted to do besides teaching. But he said, you should quit it. I think it's all right now.
Yeah.
I think you're done with that.
Yeah.
So
you did.
I did.
How was that?
Scary as hell.
So you've been a professional musician.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, actually, you have been since you started teaching.
Yeah, you
In a
might
sense,
say that.
in a
Yeah,
sense.
but I mean, touring and producing records and stuff since '93. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty impressive as a composer, musician, really.
But I mean, it's I mean, in order to live from music, you have to work your ass off.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a fact.
Yeah.
No matter how lucky you are. I mean, and luck you need. But I mean, it's takes a lot of work. So.
But that was kind of a turning point, starting to record with Dan and releasing an album that got a success.
Yeah.
What happened from then? Yeah, and he died, so you couldn't really continue in that field.
It was strange because But it's usually like that. I think that we couldn't find a record company who wanted to give it out to release it.
No.
Because they thought either it would be too much pop, or it would be too much lyrics.
Yeah.
But to me it was, yes, I'm sitting on both chairs. I'm not sitting between them.
No.
So we found a record company, and it became a success. And all of a sudden, people started phoning me. Could you produce a record maybe? Or have you ever tried film music?
Producer?
Yeah, one part saw me as a producer, another said, well, actually, Halfdan, that's film music you're doing.
Yeah.
Have you ever? And which I haven't, because I wasn't into that. So I started doing both.
You started doing short films, or
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For the film school,
film school films. Stuff.
Yeah. So I got a little pay that way, and
probably not. No. It's something you put yourself in a position to earn money at some point.
Yeah. But that turned out good at
it
the
did.
end, so
it
you
did.
can do
yeah.
that. But you did film music, and what did you do else in that period to make a living?
Actually, well, I think I was still touring, and then at a point I thought, okay, Dan is dead. I think I must have been touring it laid back actually at the time.
Yeah.
And then it's the chronology, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought, because I had so much material left, I thought, okay, I want to make a second record from that.
Yeah.
But some of the poems are very short, so I want to
stretch them.
To stretch them. So I called Steffen Brandt.
Yeah.
Of
I
Danish fame.
tell you, Steffen Brandt is the lead singer of another famous Danish band called TV2. Yeah. And they had a long career before you talked to them. He's a wonderful poet as well. Songwriter.
And a great performer. And I called him and said, well, Steffen, could you maybe write the second verse, because I
Did
need
you know
a verse.
him by then?
No, I did not. It was equally scary to call one of your, what do you call it, peers.
Yeah, it's a hero of mine as well.
A hero.
Yeah,
you can just say, yes, let's be frank.
Yeah.
To call one of your heroes and say, could you do a second verse? And he said, well, yeah, I could, on one condition, which is that you have to produce something for my band. It was like...
what?
Okay. I'm ready for that.
I'll do that.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah. But did you have skills as a producer?
Well, no, not per se. I mean, I had to admit, I think I worked on the first Danseorkestret record for 3 years.
Yeah.
Gradually finding out how to do stuff.
Yeah.
So basically what Steffen offered me was a chance to do it for real. Yeah. With a real band in real studios, and it was kind of scary at first.
But when I was younger, I thought as a producer, as a guy who was in the studio and decided what to record and how to record it and make sure that it sounded fantastic. Yeah. But could you do all the skills? Now I found out that this maybe differed a bit of the technique. The technicians sometimes make sure that it sounds good, and you just decide what is going in and what is going out.
Exactly.
How was your role?
Well, I guess what Steffen had seen was that actually I've been, the whole of this record, the first one I did, the cover was me, the label inside, the vinyl was me, the choice of songs was me. It was me all over the place, basically. So in a way, I was already producing, although I didn't see myself as a producer. No. But what you have to do is you have to be able to zoom out as a producer and see the whole product as a product, really, which is not very many people, in this day of age, probably it's changing. But back then it was like, oh no, going to bed with the devil. Yeah. Like thinking of my music as a product. Yeah. It's but I've been doing that from day one, so it was within reach. It doesn't make sense to create something that nobody will use, because then I've been wasting my time. Yeah. No matter how good it is. Yeah. So I prefer to work on something that I know as much as I can that people want to buy or listen to or experience live. So
I want to show you something.
Great.
Yeah. You can listen to this one. Can you hear what it says?
Oh yeah, from the very beginning. Yeah, sure.
Who's playing the guitar? Is that
me? At least some of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's.
We'll stop again because it's. We can. We'll show you the song. There you go.
Yeah. Basically, when you work with an old band like TV2, and they've been working for ages, you know.
Yeah.
They've been working since the late 70s, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you have a new producer coming into the room, I mean, he or she has to bring something to the table. So what we did was that Steffen recorded his songs on cassette tapes.
Yeah.
With an acoustic guitar, and he sent me those tapes.
Yeah.
And then I started building, like just like always been doing, you know, building a small world around him.
Yeah.
So I mean, invariably, it's a lot of that stuff is played by me.
Yeah.
But then we took it to the studio and dubbed drums and violins, and we had a string quartet. That was
really. How was that?
That was scary.
That was the first string quartet.
That was my first string quartet ever.
How was that?
That was terrifying.
Yeah.
I was so scared, you know. I'd been using the whole night at my hotel room writing sheets for them, and it was.
Yeah. Could you do that? You learned that at the concert?
Yeah, I could, but you know, I'd never written a string quartet. I mean, it's you know, calling up a string quartet. Could you come to my studio tomorrow? Yes. Yeah. In the event that you have this and this money, we can. So it's a costly affair, isn't it? So it's quite scary. I mean, if what you've written sounds like rubbish, I mean, it's like and I really didn't want to ruin anything, so I was scared. But it turned out well. Yeah. Also because again, I think a part of the reason it turned out well is that I can't write for strings. No. So I mean.
You used your ear instead.
Yeah, I mean it's coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah. Really?
Pure luck.
Pure luck. You ever wake
you
up?
take a chance and it turns out well. I mean, it could have turned out horrible.
Yeah.
But
you didn't get busted, so you succeeded anyway.
Not at that time. Later on.
Later, you got busted later.
Yeah, I got. Yeah. Exactly, for a different job.
Working with them was kind of a way of learning how to produce then, because they must have brought something to the table for you as well.
Oh yes, it was. And back then it was very much hardware. So I would bring my poor little samplers and synthesizers on this wagon.
You did?
Yeah, by train to Aarhus.
Really?
Yeah, and come up with this wagon to the studio, and it was like, oh man, it was all very pathetic. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that was the way to do it. And then we would probably have the sketches on diskette for the Atari computer. Yeah, exactly, on floppy disks. Exactly. Yeah. It was, cassette tape back and forth.
Not only do you play bass, but you also play a double bass, I've seen.
Oh yeah.
And it must have been on this one. We are rolling here, and I'll try. Because that's...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Should have been a cab driver.
Should have been a cab driver.
Yeah, and if we go forward, I think that I can find you here, outside a phone booth, with a double bass.
Yeah.
Did you play double bass, or was it just
not
for
on
the
that,
show bit?
Not on that particular song, but yes, I did. I did, yeah.
So, did you learn that at the conservatory, or
no, actually, back all the way back to Dieter's leader, they invited me into that band, and I said, but I got no bass.
No. You didn't have a bass at the time.
I did not.
No.
And said, okay, we'll buy you one. And so we went to the local music store, and there was a fretless bass, and I thought, okay, I can do that. Yeah. And so I've been playing fretless bass from day one. So I have, yeah. And it's been working out great. So the step towards double bass wasn't that big. No, it wasn't. At any rate, I mean it's a very forgiving instrument compared to violin. I mean, you won't notice. Yeah, no. But you won't notice if it's a little. I mean, it's on double bass. It's more about strength, because it's really a hard instrument.
Yeah, it is.
Mm. So
So you did that as well?
I did.
Yeah, I had to jump back. When we got back here, let's see, we came to the TV2 and other people that wanted you to produce a record. Who did call you then?
Well, I ended up in all kinds of, I had a terrible, because I've been saying yes to a lot of things. You know that yourself.
Yeah.
The musical. Yeah. Your theatre.
Yeah.
Which was a huge mistake. But it's like, okay, maybe I can do it. Yeah. But let me just say yes. Yeah. Well, at the time I did a lot of things. Some worked out, some did not, and I have to say I'm deeply sorry for those who didn't work out. I was, you know, it was like something unconscious what I was doing.
Yeah.
Anyways, Lis Sørensen wanted to do a Patsy Cline record.
Yeah. Crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, and it was, you know, it was. And I thought, okay, they're calling me, so then they don't want to do something traditional. So let's get into the studio and let's try to record stuff, and then I can middle it.
Yeah.
You know, throw it in the end.
Yeah.
And we did that, and it totally didn't work.
Totally didn't work. No.
And partly I think because Patsy Cline doesn't need meddling. I mean, she's great as she is. Yeah. And I think had we done it the right way, we would have had a beautiful Patsy Cline record with Lis Sørensen. But I wasn't man enough to say I can't do it this way.
No.
So I mean, probably the most successful I've done is with TV2.
Yeah. But the reason I wanted to look at Danseorkestret and the video cab driver was that the guy who was doing the
like
video,
this with my eyebrows because
the guy who was doing this video for the movie for the video for the taxi driver.
Perfect.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because tell us a bit about Pierre Flue and you, because you go back and you have had a fantastic story together.
Yeah, because you know, the drummer from Deitl went to the film school.
Yeah.
Becoming a film producer, and at a point he called me and said, "Well, there's this guy that you have to meet at film school, who's called Pierre Flue, and he's gonna become something. I mean, and I want you to team up because I'm absolutely certain that you can do great things."
Yeah.
So we did, and we started creating small films, and gradually we came into bigger films, and suddenly he got his first feature film.
Yeah.
So that was my debut as well. His first feature film.
Called The Bench.
The Bench which was, I mean.
Well, Pierre did a trilogy with 3 films.
Yeah, but that was later on. The first one
didn't decide.
Nobody wanted to have anything to do with it.
Okay.
Because it was sort of like social realism.
Yeah.
Which is, it was a huge thing in the 60s or the 70s.
Yeah.
And after that, people hated it.
Yeah.
So nobody wanted to distribute it or release it. And so he called me and said,
"It was a film about a bum living on a bench."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Drinking himself to death, basically.
Yeah.
But I'm probably more inspired by Italian movies from the 60s.
Yeah.
Like new, what do you call it? This genre. Black and white films. The Bicycle Thief.
Film noir again? Or
no,
what do you call it now?
doesn't matter really.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he called me and said, "Okay, I know I have to do this film.
Yeah.
But I can't promise you any money.
Okay.
Are you in?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, no matter what."
Yeah.
So the whole film team, we just went on doing this film for nothing.
Yeah.
And of course we found some money, and it became a great hit.
Yeah, it did.
And you know, the film company, they had this letter plastered to the wall from the distribution.
Yeah.
Originally saying, "We don't want to touch your silly little film. Take it away."
Yeah, yeah.
And it became a hit. So it's like, okay, the guy who said no to maybe not Beatles, but
no, but still.
yeah. But Pierre, we continued to, and I've done quite a lot of films with him.
Yeah.
Up until the point where he became so big that his productions were like co-productions.
Yeah. Where
you get money from Canada, then you need a Canadian composer.
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of a pity, really. It's good in the sense that they get the money together, and he made some great films. Yeah. But I mean, it's I still think that some of the best stuff I've done with him. So.
Yeah.
So I hope in the future we can at some point do something.
Have you a special understanding?
Yeah, because I mean, when doing film music is very much there's so much music in the film, and a film is like 1.5 hours. So I mean, you need to communicate about what you want.
Yeah.
Well, I want something that's blue. Okay, but my blue is totally different from your blue.
Yeah.
So we need more words. You know?
Yeah.
Do you want it pointy? Do you want it like? What?
But when you did all the small films, you learned your language.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, and it's I mean, it's something you invent over time.
Yeah.
So when you've done, when you've got 10 years behind you, and you're not getting sick and tired from each other, then you've got language.
Yeah.
And a total understanding without words. So,
Yeah.
and you know what each other want. So I mean, it's very hard to just dissolve that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It works.
But I
basically.
don't remember. You did the bench, and you did the
Inheritance.
Yeah, and then you did
manslaughter.
manslaughter.
And we did a children's movie called Proper.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, which is absolutely outstanding.
Oh, I'll have a short break and just to pick
Yeah,
to
great.
the Boel, okay? Now.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
wonderful.
Wasn't
to the
it?
Boel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know the way they went to Balticum to find the old belt makers that
Yeah,
that
they
still
could
do
do it.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know, from the Russian era.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
yeah. But that was the first film. I think
I think that was his first feature film.
they told him, if you want to do a feature film, you got to do this one first.
Is
I
that
think
true?
it's told- yeah, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
wonderful.
Ulrich-
He never
Ulrich
told me.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So he had to do that one first to
see.
show.
I see.
Yeah, and it was a wonderful kids movie.
Yeah.
A bit scary with Lisbeth Dahl as
Exactly,
the
as a
witch.
witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you record that?
Oh yeah, I did. I
Yeah.
did. It was great fun. It was
You
great
gotta
fun.
watch it. I don't know whether it's outside Denmark. It could be actually.
I think it is.
Yeah,
But probably not. It's probably not. It's synchronized, I think.
yeah. But I'll leave a link if I can find any links
Oh, yeah.
anywhere. I'll leave it in
Yeah.
the description below.
It's great fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so did I. So did my kids.
But the phone still rang as a composer, film composer.
Yeah, and I produced all those records, Vinter på Far, you know.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
And did small films like not feature films, but like novel
Yeah.
films. What do you
Yeah.
call that? Like 1 hour films for
Short
for
films,
Danish television.
shorties.
Then I think the break came with a Danish TV series called Summer,
Yeah.
which was a great success in Denmark.
Yeah.
And after that, they wanted me to do a small political series called Borgen.
Oh.
Right.
You know what it is?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Can you tell us about it?
Well, you're playing Borgen,
Yeah.
the Borgen intro.
Yeah.
Borgen was it was Denmark's radio
Yeah.
wanting to do a series about politics,
Yeah.
Danish politics.
Yeah.
And Adam got all the team together and said, well, you have to realize after this you will never get work again because you know it's a series about politics in Denmark.
Who want to watch that?
Who want to watch that? The audience will hate it and
Yeah.
think it's boring. The politicians will deny everything,
Yeah.
and the media will think that it's just rubbish.
Yeah.
So I mean, after this, really, I mean, if you want to jump ship, jump now. So,
That's what he
but
said.
Of course, yeah, but of course we stayed because I mean, doing something that means something.
Yeah.
About politics. I mean,
Yeah.
wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So and you know, back at the time, my colleague Franz Bach had just done The Killing.
Yeah.
And it just went viral all over
Yeah,
the world.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, okay, so I'm doing politics, right? But you know, during series 2, the amazing thing happened that it spread all over the world.
Yeah. And
For some reason or another.
because nobody
you know.
would have guessed that, would they?
No, nobody would have guessed that. So and just, you know, the whole story about Scandi Noir or the whole Nordic thing, it's very much also about luck and timing and thinking. But it's a great series actually, and it learned me a few valuable lessons as well.
What was that?
Well, you asked me if that was sampled. The thing is that.
Yeah, I asked about the clock. I think that was the thing I was thinking about.
Well, everything is sampled in there.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not actually strings.
No, because you know we sat down and brained what are we going to do with this, and you know, this being the absolute power in Denmark, you know, the epicenter of power, and it's very built on tradition, on stone and oak trees, and you know. Going all the way back, basically tradition. So we wanted a classical orchestra. We wanted a big, large orchestra. So
why didn't you went to Prague then?
I went to Prague.
You did.
Yeah, I did. Like we do. You know, like we do.
Yeah.
I would have recorded it in Denmark, but you know, it's with the Danish orchestras at the time. They never had time to do it.
No.
It's like we can do
They
half
got
an
a
hour.
schedule.
They have a schedule.
Yeah.
Because they're so busy proving that they're creating value for the Danish people. So.
Yeah.
Anyways. on we went to Prague, and me and an arranger, and we sat down and recorded a lot, and it was like, sounded like Gone with the Wind. It was very much not what we wanted. No, so on the way back, I ditched everything because my intention was to create something chilling, like ice cold, like cynic kind of music. Without too much motion.
The strings get too warm.
Because they've got a very romantic tradition, at least that orchestra in Prague. So I mean, when you put a long note on paper, it's like and it's Gone with the Wind. Yeah. So it sounded romantic all of a sudden. So I just scrapped it and went home to my samples. So
but the production. You coming home from Prague, I guess you bring a bill and
I paid that myself. That's my entire salary going up in flames. Yeah, exactly. I got no money from that first series, but I learned that. I mean, an orchestra is just an instrument, like a banjo. I mean, if the banjo works, then stick to that. Yeah. And so I went home and redid the whole thing with samples, and that worked. So it's like, okay. I mean, in other films, you may want to have strings and the warmth of the sort of human thing, but this was more of a thriller music, really.
Yeah, so there's more cold to it.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting twist.
But really. That's the way to get into the Nordic Noir. Then is that to ditch the Prague orchestra and get into the sampler.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. That's a British company.
What is Nordic Noir, music-wise?
Well, I think it's very much about not telling everything. It's very much about simplicity. Yeah. I guess when I look at a scene, it's much about, okay, what does this scene actually need? Yeah. And if all it needs is one tone and a set of spoons, then that's what we'll do in the Nordic countries. Yeah. Whereas in USA, there's always been a tradition to more is more. Yeah. So I mean, why go for just one tone and a set of spoons when we can have 100 strings and everything?
So simplicity.
Simplicity, very much, and very much also, and that's my own idea probably, but the fact that we have no money here for production. Yeah. So we have to write very good scripts and educate very good actors, and it's generally all going to happen inside one room. Yeah. So I mean, you have to the thing has to be very strong in itself, and then you can put very small amounts of music on top, sprinkle it with music, because it works already. Yeah.
But what, do you bring a recorder around in your life and sample stuff to have a library lying around for composing?
I used to. Yeah, I used to went on sample hunting.
Oh, gives me a thing we just gotta watch.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because you gotta tell me about this.
Grisen ville på ferie. Halfdan fandt sin guitar frem og prøvede at spille.
What was that?
Well, that's another one of my. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if that's me, but I'll say yes. Yeah. Because I met a girl that wanted me to do a series for kids. Yeah. On Danish TV. Yeah. Where I should be the composer, and at 9:30 in the morning, there would be a kid outside my door. Yeah. With a small, a bag.
Yeah, and they filmed me should be the host of the program.
And I would host the thing and see to it that during the 2 hours we had, I would create a song with that based on what she had in her bag. Yeah. And in this case, I think she had a horse in her bag, really, like a doll's horse. Yeah. And she wanted to do something also about traveling. Yeah. So I mean, we had to invent stuff.
You had to.
And it's probably the most. I mean, I think we did 40 episodes, and every morning it was like, no, I'm not gonna make it today, because it's you have 2 hours and you have to do a song and create some television that's actually worth viewing. Yeah. And after that, the kids were only exhausted. Yeah. And then they went on to do a video for the song. Yeah. And it's all in the very Scandinavian tradition on no money, we'll just do it on the kitchen table. Yeah. Which was great and very inventive, because we had to invent stuff all the time. Yeah. on time. You know, it was sort of a sports event.
Yeah. So pretty exhausting, but the reason why I came to think of this one was because we talked about the samples. Because in the first 2 seasons, you worked in your studio. You got the studio in the old.
Used to be the old Sony studios.
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah,
exactly.
And you got your studio, a room in there where you work, and that's where the TV was shot.
Exactly.
Yeah, for the first 2 seasons, and then they picked up kids around the blocks to make the programs.
Yeah, the only thing they wanted was, do you have something in your eyes?
Yeah.
They didn't care whether the kids could sing or play or whatever.
No.
Just that they wanted.
Yeah.
They had a burning desire to do it.
Yeah.
Which is a very good thing. Because talent,
Yeah. What is that? And
what is talent?
Something else.
It's
well.
a desire.
I saw the programs and I enjoyed them. I saw them with my kids.
Well, thank you. Great.
And then for the 3rd season, you went out in a camper.
Yeah, because Denmark's radio. Basically, we're doing TV for the whole of Denmark.
Yeah.
But a lot of the TV is produced locally in Copenhagen, so it's like, okay, it's not really Danish.
No.
So we wanted to take it on tour and go out to to northern of Jutland, to the islands, and meet normal Danish average children
kids
out there
around
do songs with them. Yeah.
And that worked, I think. And you ran around with a sampler there, because that's
because
I thought about it.
Yeah, because a part of this thing was to collect sounds for your song.
Yeah.
Partly because it looked great. They gave us a chance to bang on all kinds of stuff. And we went to old factories, and I think we went to farms and all kinds of spaces.
Must have been a hell editing, because you have to get the pictures to run along with
no,
the
we
sound.
just went for the samples. So we did one for the sake of the camera, and then we did another one for the sake of the sample.
Yeah. Okay.
So and we went to a car junkyard. Crashed cars. That was really fun.
Yeah. So you got a huge sample library.
I have.
Some of it partly from doing score.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
done by kids. Danish kids.
But do you use your mobile phone to record when sometimes you get a sound where you say, I want that sound.
Yeah, I want that sound. Yeah. Well, I haven't really found the good media, because it's always you hear the sound and then it's gone. You look for your stuff, my phone is probably one of my best tools, really.
Yeah.
Because also for ideas, you can just, sing.
Because when you compose,
look silly on the street and sing.
When you compose, you get ideas when you're on the move.
Yeah, it's a method. It's another one method, isn't it? That you go out and you walk. Yeah. Or you bicycle, and I think the process of, cycling through traffic and avoiding to get run down by cars. You invent a soundtrack for that. I think. And that's what I do.
Because actually you got a beat going on the bike.
Yeah, that's
when you're walking, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. My shoes and my phone.
And your beat.
It's my basic instruments.
Yeah.
As it is.
So what's up? So I forgot we got to talk about 2 things more.
Okay.
One is it's not, what is it called? The Badehotel?
Oh yeah.
What is it called in English?
Seaside Hotel, I think.
Seaside Hotel, which is very popular in Denmark, 8 seasons or so.
Yeah.
And maybe around some countries.
Well, I think it's a Scandi thing. Mostly in the Nordic countries, because it's. I think we have tried without luck to export it to Germany.
Yeah.
And maybe at some point we will. But they've been very reluctant.
Yeah.
And I think it's partly down to the first season of a series. I mean, it has to meet certain standards.
Yeah.
Problem is, you're always, inventing the series as you go along with the first series. So it's a catch-22, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it finds its real form during series 2 when it's too late to export it. Yeah. So I don't know, but it's a great series actually. Yeah. It's a great series, and it's surprisingly popular with the Danish audience.
Yeah. And then we promised that we'd talk a bit about the Netflix series.
Ragnarok. Yeah. Back to the beginning, exactly. Yeah.
Because that you started out as a part of a team trying to write a TV series a bit earlier than you usually are put into the process, or what?
Yeah, the fact is, you know, I've been running around because after Borgen I had
Yeah.
a British agent.
Yeah.
And you know, I've been running around in London for 6-7 years
Yeah.
with not so much luck.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you know, I said, okay, I'll take off
Yeah.
like 3 months and just do nothing
Yeah.
unless something happens. And then, you know, the phone rang, and it was Adam Price saying, well,
Yeah.
I'm doing this series. I want you on board. So
Yeah.
it was, you know, and it's a Danish Norwegian Netflix originals series, which we've just had word that Netflix wants to do a series too, which is fantastic because now we get a chance to do it right.
Yeah.
You know, when you work with Netflix, it's very much okay. We like your idea. When can you start?
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's not really finished. Well, when can you start?
Yeah.
For Christ's sake. So it's like
a different process.
So so when we started, and we had 3 months time to sort of put everything together and then start working.
Yeah.
And we went in total wrong directions.
Okay.
I think both film-wise and music-wise.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really know
What
the boundaries.
direction?
It's a sort of it's a tricky series because it's a mix between, you know, Adam usually you know, says that it's a mix between Skam and Stranger Things.
Okay.
That's where we want to be, you know.
Adam is the one that wrote the script for Borgen as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And basically Skam is a everyday series taking place among youngsters in Norway.
Yeah.
Which is very much now and no frills and I mean Stranger Things. It's sci-fi, isn't it? So I mean to fuse those two worlds, I mean, took so much more time than anybody expected.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing everything in very, very little time.
Yeah.
It was like, oh no, we can't do that. We have to do this. And no sleep at all for half a year, you know. So and we nearly got it right, I think.
Yeah.
So now we can get it right. It's lovely.
Halfdan, it was so nice to have you here to talk about your career. What you don't know is that we also got a part called Nerd Alert that will come after this one.
Oh yeah.
So I'll say thanks for watching this part of Halfdan E's fantastic career. Stay tuned for Artist Talks Nerd Alert, where we'll go into the more nerdy stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you Skyhook for the support. And remember to listen to other people's stories. You might learn something new.